And then he bowls the guy.
He bowls the guy.
And the guy runs for 3 runs.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Welcome back to the Vaguely Familiar podcast, to the backward point edition of the podcast, guys. The cricket wing of the Vaguely Familiar podcast. Do you want to turn a little bit towards me? We're just a little bit shook.
What's up, man? I'm missing that energy from your voice. What's going on?
I'm sleep deprived. I am heartbroken. I am mildly depressed.
You sound like a Pakistan cricket fan.
Midnights came out by Taylor Swift. They're dragging my boy John Mayer in the streets. Pakistan lost.
They're dragging our boy Babar Azam as well.
Bobby's being dragged. There's a lot. I'm feeling a lot. Right?
Okay.
People that are fact checking me on Twitter.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
I mean,
so this is basically a backward point edition of the podcast.
Correct.
We were meant to do a preview of the World Cup, but life and work kind of came in between.
Injuries, sickness.
A lot of things happened. So, but we're here. We just watched the India versus Pakistan World Cup match. It was the first match of India and Pakistan in the World Cup.
Yep.
At MCG.
Yep.
And for people that don't know, we live in Canada, so the game sort of started at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Slept. We were up the entire night.
Yep, we were up in excitement to the build-up of the game till
Very
4
hyped,
a.m.
Very hyped. Extremely hyped.
I think it finished around like 7:30, 8 a.m. here, and we slept. So our circadian rhythm is a bit off.
Oh, yeah.
But we're back. We're here.
Extremely sleep deprived.
A lot of emotions, a lot of opinions, a lot of controversy. So we're here to talk about the whole game from the build-up all the way till the end.
And just for the record, like, you and I have not discussed the game at all.
No, so when we have a podcast like this, I try not to talk to you about the topic the whole day. And so I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what you're feeling.
Because what happened was after the game ended, you basically, like, literally last ball, you didn't even see if it went for 4 or not. When Ashwin hit the one, was it over long off? Over mid-off, yeah. You didn't check. I didn't check what happened. Like, we closed the TV and we went back upstairs. And you went into your room. I went into my room. I ranted on the Twitter sphere a little bit, just getting my the garbage out of my head. Everything I was feeling, I just put it on there. Went to sleep around 9 a.m. Woke up at 3. And then we just we're doing our own stuff, and then we decided we were gonna do this podcast anyways.
Yeah, I was actually throughout the whole game I was looking forward to this podcast because I don't care if nobody ever listens to this, but I just love sitting here with you and talking about the game, and
it's therapy, bro.
Venting. It's therapy. It's life therapy.
Like, this is especially right now. Like, I'm so glad we have a podcast we can talk about cricket with, because it would have been nice to have this in 2011 when Pakistan got knocked out of the World Cup semifinals against India, because the feelings I have are quite reminiscent to that. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I genuinely feel like this.
I don't know why you're feeling that. We'll get to that.
I don't know why you're feeling like that. Yo, I don't know why you're feeling that.
Feelings are feelings, but
Your feelings are feelings.
Let me calm you down, okay? I wanted to start off with the build up towards the game, and then talk about sort of break down the game as it went on.
Yep.
And as we keep talking about it, I think the things you want to discuss with heavy opinions will come up. So I think when I heard that India versus Pakistan is happening in the World Cup again, not surprised. ICC makes a lot of money through just this one match. And because India and Pakistan aren't playing any bilateral series, it's always a great event looking forward to an Asia Cup match or a World Cup match.
Hey, I mean, The Rock was hyped, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson was hyped for it. So, like, is cricket finally, like, traveling over, like, translating to the North American audiences? That's a whole different podcast. But it was truly a hyped event.
Yeah.
Like, we had a lot of people extremely, they were looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
And the hype was real, man. Like, Pakistan, India in the Asia Cup, they played 2 games, 1 each, The last time we met India in the World Cup, we didn't really give them a chance.
We beat India twice of the last 3 matches. And they were
barring this last one, yes.
Except for the last one that happened yesterday. Yep. So we won 2 of the last 3 matches. And then They were all like really close matches, except for
Very
the
close
World Cup
matches.
ones. Yeah,
Like these are the type of matches, these are the type of games that you want from an India Pakistan.
absolutely.
Like you want thrilling finishes. You
Mhm.
want, you don't want one sided. Like the 2017 World Cup, the 2017 Champions Trophy final, very one sided. The group stage game, very one sided. 2019 World Cup,
I
very
would
one
say all
sided.
of 2010s we had very one-sided matches,
I agree with you.
especially in ICC events.
Yeah, and well, we only play in ICC events, so maybe that's why. But
Yeah,
um, and the series in 2012 when Pakistan went to India was also quite one sided. We won 2-1. But
Yeah.
in ODIs, I think it was 1-1 in T20s, right?
yeah. I think we won T20s as well. I think we only had one match or something.
Okay.
Not. I mean, my memory is not that clear.
I
For
think it was
that.
3 ODIs and 2 T20s, as far as I remember. I could be
Okay.
wrong, but yeah, not very exciting. I mean, it was great to watch as a Pakistani fan to like see Junaid Khan rip through the top three,
Yeah.
top four. But yeah, the past couple of games, including this one, has been nail biting.
It's lived up to the hype.
Oh yeah. Like
For this particular one, though, I was a bit scared because of the Melbourne weather. I live in Toronto, and I've never checked the Toronto weather as much as I've checked the weather of Melbourne over the past 2 weeks.
yeah,
And it's been crazy changing day by day. People weren't sure if we're going to have a game, if it's going to be a short-lived, maybe
Yeah.
a 5-10 over match.
we had our cousin who lives in Melbourne give us live updates, pitch
Yeah,
reports, and everything.
yeah.
He was quite hyped. I told him like he was quite distraught. Like he like lived through that. Like he
Yeah.
was there among a sea of blue Indian jerseys. This one green guy popping in.
And it was also really nice to have him in the stadium because we've watched a couple of World Cup matches in the stadium as well, and there's like a
2019.
15 to 30 second lag between what you see on the ground and
Sometimes
what happens
more.
on TV.
Sometimes more, man.
Yeah. So I remember there was like that run out scene.
Yeah.
He told us in advance that's going to be out.
Also, Babar Azam when he his
The review, Babar
yeah.
Azam review. Yeah. So in that sense, it was really cool to have.
I
him.
told him he lived through one of the most if not the best, then one of the best T20s of all time.
Absolutely.
And like win or loss, like he has that stamped in his memories forever. Like he can never live. Like, I mean, it was obviously a very contemptuous feeling.
I called him as well, and I told him like, hey, like don't be too depressed. Like
Yeah.
you saw one of the best games and one of the best innings of all time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's something you tell your kids, but you
Yeah.
tell your next generation, and it's a story for when you're at the campfire. When
Yeah.
you're 60 and you're like, man, I saw that. I witnessed that.
Definitely. Like I will tell my kids I was there when Babar Azam scored that century against New Zealand in Birmingham. I was there at Edgbaston, second level, with Pakistani fans. It's one of those things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but coming back to this game, extremely hyped game. We were excited, stayed up all night.
They scheduled it at MCG, and I wasn't sure. MCG, the capacity is like just over 100,000. I wasn't sure if it's going to be a packed stadium or not, just because the 2015 match was in Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, and the capacity for that ground is 50,000, and it was only 44,000 people. So I wasn't sure Melbourne this time of the year if we're going to have a full house or not. But
We had a full house, buddy. 90,200.
9,200. Yeah,
That's a lot of people.
I'm convinced you can have an India versus Pakistan match on the moon, and the fans will find a way to get there and fill up the stands there as well.
100%.
So just the atmosphere, electric, like it's insane. Like as I just keep thinking, like as a player, if you're there, if you're playing that day, you dream of these days. Like all that hard work you do as a kid, you want to be there in that moment, and you wanna live it. And I think we saw a bit of that when Rohit Sharma got emotional during the national anthem.
Yeah.
I think he's played every World Cup since 2007, and I think he's sort of getting towards the twilight of his career, and he's just soaking in the moment. You never know, when you're gonna get it next.
Yeah, man. India-Pakistan games are one too few many games that we get to see, and seeing Rohit kind of getting swept into the moment was nice to see, because at the end of the day, he's also a fan.
Yeah.
You know what? Like he saw the India-Pakistan rivalry from 2004, 2005. Like he's a fan as well, and you could see that when the national anthem was playing, he felt the pride in representing the blue shirts. So that was definitely very nice to see.
What do you think of the toss, the pitch?
Man, I told our cousin, like I told Hassan, if Pakistan win the toss, they should bowl first. I think if you're Babar Azam, you have the best pace attack in the world. You bowl first. You try to get
Mhm.
them out under 140, 150, and you go for that chase because that's exactly what happened
Yeah.
in Dubai in 2021. Um, when Pakistan were put to bat, I was nervous. I was definitely nervous because the past, I think the past 7 weeks, Pakistan has played 17 T20s or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not a good goal like total setter, which
Yeah.
is ironic because they're a good chasing team. Like they won 3 or 4 games chasing 10 wickets or 9 wickets. That's insane. It's a high stat.
What you just mentioned about like what do you why you think Pakistan should have bowled first, and if they won the toss, is exactly what Rohit did.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I was surprised Rohit went to bowl first. I thought that was quite defensive for him because India's batting attack one of the best in the world, right? Even if it's a little bit, people call it aged, which is blasphemous. Now that we've seen that game, it's
yeah,
blasphemous. You cannot. That's not an aged batting lineup. If anything, that's a mature batting lineup. Okay. I thought he was gonna go for the kill. Like I think he was gonna go for the bat. Try to set a target of 200 and put us on pressure from
yeah,
there. But he did the opposite, which kind of worked for him.
yeah. I mean, I think nobody really had any idea how the pitch is going to be. It's a drop-in pitch.
Yeah,
There
can
was
you
a bit
explain
of
what a
grass.
drop-in pitch is?
A drop-in pitch is basically, so a lot of the grounds in Australia, they're multi-purpose grounds.
Mm-hmm.
So they have one of their biggest sports is Australian rules footy, like rugby. It's like
Yeah.
footy. It's not rugby. It's footy.
Okay.
And so a lot of these big grounds, they try to use it for multi-purpose events. The drop-in pit. So they rip the pitch out from the middle, and they take it to a nursery where they maintain temperatures and they maintain the quality of the pitch over the course of the year. And then when the cricket season comes back, they sort of reinstall the pitch in the middle.
So they cut it up again and they reinstall it.
Yeah, they reinstall it. It
Okay.
takes, I think a few weeks for it to settle down and become a proper pitch again where you can play. So yeah, again, I think nobody really had any idea of how the pitch is going to be because it was the first match of the World Cup happening at the MCG. But I think Rohit did a really good decision of bowling first. It was overcast conditions, a stiff breeze going across the stadium, and when you have like bowlers like Bhuvneshwar and Arshdeep who can swing the ball both ways at decent pace, regardless of what the batting lineup is, if it's Babar Azam, Viv Richards, I don't care. When the ball is swinging at pace, Rohit Sharma, Kohli, they will all struggle.
Man, the first 6 overs felt like day one on like Lords
Yeah.
at like summer. It's 19 degrees and like Jimmy Anderson and freaking Stuart Broad. I was just like, what is this happening?
Yeah.
Like Pakistan did not score a single run from the bat in the first 10 deliveries they faced.
Yep.
Not a
And
single run.
they didn't even middle a single ball in the first few.
I think until the power play. I want to say power because the two boundaries that Shan Masood got were off edges on
Yeah.
fine leg and third man.
The first really shot of intent that we middled and got was that pull shot from Iftikhar.
Yeah.
And
I don't
he-
want to talk about him because he was a point of contention for a lot of Pakistani fans. And
before that, I want to talk about Babar. I want to talk
yeah,
about
let's go beat by beat, man. Let's go beat by beat.
Babar Azam. Pakistanis try to hype him and compare him to Virat Kohli and how great Kohli is. But I think this game is a really, really big wake-up call that Babar Azam really needs to step up in these big matches. He was a flop and no-show in all of the games of the Asia Cup. And this big game against India, a golden duck, this is... No doubt Babar he's a great player, but this game is going to taint his legacy. Virat Kohli is one of the greatest players of all time because he steps up in big matches where India really, really needs it. World Cup, India versus Pakistan. He has a great record, great man of the match, many man of the match awards. And I think Babar, this is where he's lacking. We really needed him to see off the new ball and score some runs for Pakistan, but unfortunately, he got a good ball up front.
Yeah, what do you think happened there?
I think,
Like Erskine bowls in
like I
his first
mentioned,
ball,
when the ball
gets
is
hit on the
swinging at
pad.
pace, regardless of if you're Babar, if you're Sachin, if you're Kohli, Rohit Sharma, you will miss it. You will get out. It's really tough to face high quality swing and pace bowling. And I think this Arshdeep guy, I saw him in the Asia Cup. Very, very skillful. He can swing the ball both ways. He has a subtle action where he makes subtle changes, and he can swing it both ways with accuracy, with pace. And he's also a great death bowler.
He was making our batsmen dance at 132 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, and I think
Insane. I've never seen that
I had
happen.
a look at him, and he's very skinny. If he puts on a bit of muscle mass and gets the proper training, he can go up to 140 easy.
Okay, when you're done fat shaming Arshdeep, we can talk about his brilliant in-swing and delivery, which was just like, from the naked eye, I was like, oh, he's done. He's gone.
Yeah, and with T20 cricket, it's all about momentum. You hear this word being spoken a lot about, and it's also about who throws the first punch. We saw the first game against Australia and New Zealand, and Finn
Yeah.
Allen just took the game towards Australia.
Yep.
And they never made a comeback after that. He made, I think, 42 out of 15, 16
Yep.
balls. And same thing happened here. Arshdeep Singh got the main wickets of Rizwan and Babar up front, the people who we saw a stat where the last, I think, 1 or 2 years, they've scored 50% of all of Pakistan's runs.
Correct.
And, walking into this World Cup, there's been lots of big questions on Pakistan's middle order.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
If they'll click or not.
Well, we'll come to if those questions were answered in this game or not. But yeah, Babar goes for a golden duck. My heart instantly drops, right? In walks Shan Masood, who, upon much criticism, has probably played one of his better innings. I don't want to say greatest innings, but because there's a lot of career left. But definitely an anchoring role. Him and Iftikhar reminded me of what Babar and Rizwan do early on. They weren't there to do it. So Shan and Iftikhar tried to capitalize on that, right? They had a good the 7 to 15 over mark, they were good.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Iftikhar launching 4 sixes, man. That was just insanity. Where did that come from?
Iftikhar, this man has gotten so much hate.
Yeah.
He's gotten so much. I think you've hated on him a lot as well.
Yes, I'm guilty of this. I don't mind admitting this on the pod.
And I have backed him throughout the whole time he was getting criticized because, where are these players coming from? We didn't pluck Iftikhar out of thin air. He is the top performer in domestic. He was the man of the match in the final, man of the tournament of the National T20 Cup. He's been scoring tons of runs in the PSL. So, I mean, he has performances to back himself up, and he had a great record in Australia, even though the sample size was just 3 matches that he played before.
He does have a great record. I was reading Nazar Arshad's I thought of Mazhar Majid for some reason. Mazhar Arshad's tweet about how his average is like some 60, 70 on average.
Great strike rate.
And 150 strike rate in Australia. And he proved it. Like, he scored gigantic sixes.
Yeah.
85-meter
He
plus
really
sixes.
backs himself and his ability to hit spin. I think he's been getting great backing by the team management. And if we're being really, transparent here, he is the reason why Shoaib Malik is not in the team.
Correct.
Pakistan preferred Iftikhar Ahmed over Shoaib Malik. And cometh the man, cometh the hour. Iftikhar Ahmed had delivered. And I think in the past, we've seen so much of Pakistan cricket. Any other team, if they're like 14 for 2 in the power play, they would have gone into a shell and sort of just tried to make 100, 110, 120 and leave it up to the bowlers. But Iftikhar really took on the Indian spinners. Like, they picked out Akshar Patel. He hit him for 3 sixes. He hit 162 Ashwin. And I've never seen such intent from our middle order in a long time.
Yeah, especially this current middle order, which has been criticized quite vehemently by Shoaib Malik and your Mohammad Hafiz's, right? They've really taken a disliking to this middle order, and I feel like this middle order really stepped up against India today, hitting, getting the best 2 batsmen you have out who score 50% of your runs in the first 3 overs, but you still managed to make 159, set a target for 160. I think that's a win.
I think so, and I think at the toss, Babar mentioned that 160, 170 could be a good total.
He was right.
He was. I think Pakistan were still 10, 15 runs short, because if you look at the point where Iftikhar got out, that's where we should have sort of kept on accelerating and keep the momentum going. But we just saw, I think, 3 or 4 wickets fall in the span of 2 overs, and such despicable ways of getting out. Especially when you have a set batsman like Shan Masood on the other end, instead of giving him more strike and asking him to accelerate, we had Shadab, Haider Ali, Asif Ali play. Haider Ali specifically play like really shots that you don't expect from these guys. Nothing shot. These are shots that you play in a matti wala ground in Pakistan, where a tape bowler is bowling, and you clear the leg and you hit him for mid-wicket 6. This is international cricket happening at the MCG, Pakistan India match.
Boundaries are 84 to 87 meters long.
there is so much data out there. Every team, every analyst gives the information to the bowler, to the captain of exactly what field set to take, what ball to ball to this batsman and get him out. And that's exactly what they did. Before Heather Ali came on to bat, the mid wicket was inside the 30-yard circle. And then when Heather Ali came on to bat on strike, mid wicket went back and Hardik Pandya balled him a short ball and he gave a catch straight to the fielder. And Hardik Pandya looked at Heather Ali like
This is too
like,
easy.
come on, man. Like, how are you gonna do that to me?
Yeah.
Like, what are you even thinking? So, lots of questions about Pakistan's lower middle order now. So we're sort of, I think our first top four are locked in, but it's everyone after that. It's a big question mark as to what 11 we're gonna go for in the next games.
Yeah, and then you see Pakistan kind of cruising there in the middle, and then kind of losing the plot, and then coming back strong at the end.
Good cameos by
Yeah,
Shaheen and Haris.
they scored about I think 100 runs in the last 10 overs, which is commendable.
Yeah.
And they really sought it out. I mean, like, I sometimes think, like, sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes because it happened last night, but I think about Haris coming in, hitting a 6 first ball, and then beating the next 3 balls. I think about that. I'm like, what happens if he picks up a single, Shan Masood goes for 4 and 2? Like, then you suddenly need 20 in the last over, right? Which the last over is a whole other thing. We'll come to that.
I mean, hindsight, right?
Hindsight, for sure. But 160 was respectable. I think you and I were very confident. We're like, this is definitely above par. I tweeted at this. I said, this is an above par total, and it's Pakistan's game to lose from here. Pakistan coming to bowl. Shaheen takes the ball, and immediately we're like, yo, something is off. This
Yeah.
guy is not running in like he used to. The ball, we checked the speedometer, 138, 136, 132, and it's not swing. There's no swing happening for this
Yeah.
guy. Like, it was quite. I think there was a point where the Indian batsmen were playing for swing, and it didn't swing.
I saw a definite change in Rohit Sharma's technique. He was a bit more opened up his stance, and also his backlift was very low. So he was waiting for the Yorker, and hopefully, if Shaheen did ball that, which he did, but he kind of he maneuvered it, he managed it pretty well.
Yeah.
But Shaheen definitely does not look fit. Just the way that he was running in, it felt like he was struggling, and also
Why did he go over the wicket?
I think because he wasn't getting his line right. So with fast bowling, I'm a fast bowler. I'm a medium fast bowler, anyways. You need rhythm to ball well, to ball fast. And Shaheen had the last game Shaheen played before his injury was the game he got injured in July, and for I think 2.5, 3 months he didn't play a single game until the last 2 warm up games where he only bowled like 6 overs, like 2 overs and 4 overs in respective matches. So bowling in nets and bowling in a game, they're two very different things. So he was definitely lacking match practice, and he also doesn't look fully fit. I was looking at a screen by screen, split screen comparison between one ball that he bowled in the last World Cup against India and versus what he was bowling now. His body is just not snapping the same way. He's not running in with the same pace. So he's missing that zip from his action or his bowling. So
he's a good 10 clicks slower.
At least 10 clicks short.
There's definitely there was some lag into his action as well. I didn't understand why he was coming over the wicket. Like, it felt like a defensive move. Like, he felt like he wasn't confident in himself when he was coming around. Sorry, he was coming around. He wasn't confident when he was coming over the wicket. He didn't trust his swing. He didn't trust his line and length. It was a very defensive move on his part when the Indian batsmen were clearly still afraid of him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That you capitalize on the mindset. That's what India has done against Pakistan for a decade.
Yeah.
Just the Kohli pressure. We have Virat Kohli.
And then Naseem on the other end took a wicket of KL Rahul. Again, chopped on.
Bro, Naseem was very, like, he was very pleasant on the ice.
Yeah.
Right? And watching him bowl was a delight. I was like, this is exactly what fast bowling of Pakistan's nature should be. He was sort of like taking over where Shaheen left off before, and it was very nice to see. He was zipping in. It was kind of swinging as well.
90 miles an hour.
90 miles an hour, bro. It's difficult to play anywhere. And he got KL Rahul chopped off. Haris comes in. It was a good move. I think it was a good move by Babar to bring Haris in the fourth. Haris takes a wicket. Like, at that point, 31 for 4 at 6 overs. Pakistan had it in the bag.
You need a wicket. You go to Haris Rove. this man has had an incredible cricketing journey, man. Like I
Facts.
get emotional just talking about him and like what he's been through and where he is now in his life and his career. Um, MCG is his home ground.
That's what he said.
He has 30 wickets in 18 matches in the BBL, and he's just so confident in his abilities and his skill, and he's improved so much in the last 2 years. I've been a big fan of him since he burst onto the scene, and to see him square up batsmen like Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar Yadav was just it was heartening to see.
Love to see it. Did you,
Just a few words on Sky. I have never seen this guy score runs against Pakistan in any big matches, um, and any matches for that sense. So I'm not sure what the hype around
Same
him
with
is.
KL Rahul. Just want to put that out. KL Rahul and Sky. I don't get it.
Yeah, so lots to be talked about from them. But I mean, the man who's kind of sold the game away from us was Virat Kohli.
Virat
And
Kohli, I ironically put a story up. He was 12 runs off 21 balls.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? Like, this is done. Like,
Yeah.
this is a career
We
ending
had them
innings
31 for 4
in 6
in the
overs.
power play.
Yep.
31 for 4, and then in comes Pandya, and then Virat Kohli, arguably one of their most experienced players.
Reminded me of Dhoni and Kohli back in the heyday of Indian cricket.
Yeah, and
The way
I was
that
sort of like
Pandya anchored
shocked
that
at
innings.
what they're doing because there were just singles, doubles, dot balls, odd boundary here and there. Like hardly there was a very long period where there was no boundaries
Mhm.
and just ones and twos. And it's MCG is a big ground, so they were just pushing for twos, threes, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Which I was also telling you, like, it would have been nice to see Babar and Rizwan play there and see how, like, because Babar and Rizwan run really quick, right?
Yeah.
It would be so much fun to see them push the second for the third, make the single a double. Like, that would have been fun. And I mean, that's exactly what Pandya and Kohli were doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the calculation they made, knowing which bowlers to target when. And if you do a comparison of both innings, for Pakistan, there was that over for Akshar Patel where Iftikhar hit 3 sixes,
21 runs off that
where
over.
the momentum changed.
Currently.
And for Pakistan, it was the over for Mohammad Nawaz.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of debate before the match if Pakistan should drop a batsman and maybe add in an extra seamer. Mohammad Wasim, you can maybe categorize as a bowling all-rounder, he could be the fourth seamer. Which I mean, India had 3 seamers plus Hardik Pandya, and they only had Akshar Patel, the left arm spinner, ball 1 over. That's sort of the cushioning you have when you play 5 bowlers plus a 6th all-rounder. That's the whole debate on its own. Pakistan, if they knew they're having a World Cup in Australia, why did we not groom a fast bowling all-rounder, someone like a Fahim Ashraf, someone like a Ahmad Butt, an Amir Amin, an Amir Jamal? Like just where are the brains? Every cricketing team, a big cricketing team in the world, they have a really good fast bowling all-rounder. New Zealand, they have Jimmy Neesham. India, they have Hardik Pandya. Australia has Marcus Stoinis and Mitchell Marsh. South Africa, they have Pretorius who got injured, but now they have Marco Jansen. So point is, every team, and even when Pakistan used to be a great one-day team, we had players like Abdul Razak, we had players like Azhar Mahmood.
Yeah.
Wasim Akram himself was you could categorize him as a bowling all-rounder. Like what's the problem? Like, why are we not investing in players like Fahim Ashraf when you know we're gonna need him in situations like these? And we're sort of in a position now where we need to sacrifice a batsman to include a fourth seamer.
Which batsman would you sacrifice?
It has to be one of the Alis, Asif Ali or Haider Ali, one of these guys. I would personally drop Asif Ali. Looking at his game, I don't think he's going to be successful in Australia. He sort of he's almost a one-dimensional hitter. His go-to shot is going deep in the crease, waiting for the full ball, full toss ball, and just hitting it for 6 over a long on or mid wicket. Very one-dimensional. Even the ball he got out to today against Ursi, like he had no idea how to play a short ball, and you're playing in Australia in a World Cup match. So just he looked nowhere to be found. So I would probably sacrifice him. In Australia, in this World Cup, I think you need proper batsmen who can hit gap shots, who can hit 360, who can make the most of the big outfield.
That's where Shan was successful. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
that's what he does. He would punch one and get two out of it, or he would punch a really good one towards the boundary, get three out of it. Like that was his entire game. He scored 53 off 42 or something.
Yeah.
Anchoring innings, like we really needed someone like that to rotate the strike to keep the ball moving.
Even if you analyze Virat Kohli's innings like really closely,
We're gonna come to that too.
like he didn't slog. He was playing proper cricketing shots.
Yeah.
He was placing deliveries in the gaps over the fielders, using the pace of the ball or coming down the track, just manipulating the field essentially. And that's what great batsmen do. Like he made 83 off 50 something, up strike rate of 150, but it looked risk-free cricket. That's what great batsmen do. They make batting look really easy.
So India were 31 for 4 at 6, right? And there was a big debate on what Pakistan should have done at that point. They went for the spinners, right? They went to like extend the game. Do you think they should have come back with more Haris and Shaheen and Naseem in that spell from 6 to 12?
In hindsight, maybe. It was, I think, the 11th or 12th over where Nawaz got hit, and then
It was the 11th over.
and then the next over they brought on. I think it was a Naseem Shah. I think it was
Yeah.
Naseem Shah or Shaheen. They brought one of
They
them.
brought Shaheen out.
They brought one of the pacers on, and that didn't really help much as well.
Because
So
Shaheen wasn't fit and he got hit for 14.
one of the things I wanted to really talk about was Babar's captaincy and how he managed the overs of the bowlers.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Nawaz gets hit. Nawaz doesn't bowl in the power play, which we could talk about because I think I agree. I read somewhere on Twitter, maybe I was talking to you about, if Nawaz is not bowling in the power play, then you're going to be stuck with his last over, right? That's just a liability.
So maybe get his like the sixth over of the power play.
It should be a Nawaz over, or sometimes he opens the innings, right? He opens the attack.
That works in the UAE, but
UAE, Asia, that really works well. Yeah, I don't know if it works as well in Australia. Like I also agree with that, but you need to get one of his overs off in the power play, because then otherwise you're going to be stuck in a situation like this where Pakistan literally, it was like deja vu, right? I've seen this before.
I remember we were watching the Asia Cup game together where literally the same thing happened. And ever since I think Babar did the same thing, I was screaming my lungs out. I'm like, where is Nawaz's last over? When is he going to bowl his last over? It's a terrible, terrible miscalculation, and I don't know what this mindset of taking the game deep is.
Okay, so this is where we were arguing during the game last night as well. What would you have done? Nawaz just goes for 20 in the 11th over. What do? You bring him back for the 13th over? You let him go for 15 again?
There was a scenario.
The game's done there.
There was a scenario where India needed, I think, 61 or 60 off 5 overs.
Yeah.
I would have bowled Nawaz. I don't care if he goes for 15. I would still back my pacers to defend 35 in 4 overs. We have Haris Rove, Naseem Shah, one of the best death bowlers in the world. I wouldn't even give Nawaz the last over if there's 20 runs to win.
Which exactly happened.
You can't risk that. And these guys, Hardik Pandya and Kohli, they've been playing for so long.
Okay.
They knew exactly what they were gonna do.
Let me play devil's advocate, because I think there was some rhyme to this reason. There's some reason to this rhyme, right? Okay, so Babar withholds Nawaz's 4th over. He goes for his pace attack, his lethal attack. Haris, Naseem, Shaheen. He was looking for that wicket, which ironically comes in the final over that Nawaz bowls. His first ball, Pandya skies it, and Babar catches it, which is quite ironic because we were kind of like scared of him against Nawaz anyways. Haris bowls beautifully. He gets hit for 2 sixes.
Those 2 sixes, I think that's where the game changed.
Against Haris or against
Haris? Against Haris.
Shaheen?
India needed, was it
30 off
29 off 8 balls?
Yeah, something like that.
And then Virat Kohli hit 2 of the most insane, inhuman, like out of this world sixes. Especially the one that would hit for straight, like the straight shot.
I was just like,
how the hell do you play that shot?
The fact is that he knew he hit it.
Yeah, the moment he made contact, he knew it.
Like the ball wasn't even at the apex of its parabola, and he had turned around. He was like, that's
yeah, and even
that was insane.
Even the second shot, like he made room, and he knew exactly that Haris is going to follow him, and he used Haris's pace and flicked it over fine, like for 6. That's just a sign of a genius batsman. He's a genius batsman.
Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded, bro.
Always 2 steps ahead of the bowler. It's cricket is more than a game of bat and ball. It's a game of it's a mind game between the bowler and the batsman.
Yeah.
And whoever wins that mind game, that strategy, being steps ahead, will win the game.
Okay, let me play some revisionist history, right? So fourth over by Nawaz is withheld. Let's say Naseem, Shaheen, Haris, pick your poison. One of them cracks the 100 in partnership. You bring in Nawaz again. He does not go for 20. He does not go for 15. He goes for 8. He goes for 12. Right? That's what Babar was trying to do. His bowlers, who he was relying on, got hit for 4 sixes, man. Shaheen got for 2, and Haris went for 2. He, like, even if there was 25, like, he was hoping to take it to the end. That the argument that we were having was Haris and Shaheen don't get hit for 6s like that, right? That was just I read another tweet on Twitter. Somebody said the difference between the Indian Pakistan game was one generational player.
Yeah,
in Virat Kohli.
That's
Anybody
true.
else, let's say he goes for 1-6 here, 1-6 there, there's still 12 runs on the board.
Yeah.
Right? So, and if 12 runs on the board, he has 16 to defend. Suddenly he has, 28 to defend in the last over, you win.
Yeah.
That's a big pressure. I don't think Babar was expecting that. I don't think Haris, Shaheen were expecting to be swatted like that against Virat Kohli. That's just, I have to give it to VK there. Like he
outplayed us.
He outplayed us. He genuinely outplayed us. So I'm not angry at that. Last over 16, I was gonna put my money on Nawaz. He could have defended it, and I think, which I'm gonna come to, the officiating of the last over. I think if you a call here, a call there, some rules here, knowing about this there, he had defended it. He defended it, right? My whole argument, my whole point is, I don't think that was a bad call from Babar to stretch it out to the 20th over.
Okay,
because
that's your opinion.
Because it's just this is where like my emotions are taking over. It's like Saeed Ajmal was one of the best spin bowlers in the world when he was given the 20th over by Afridi. Was it Afridi or Hafiz? Afridi in the 2010 World Cup against Australia semi-final. He had to defend 22. 24. No, he had to defend 22.
Okay.
Michael Hussey was just a beast. Like, there was nothing he could have done.
You want to know a cool fact?
Yeah.
In yesterday's game and the game against Australia, the one that you're referring to, Australia needed 48 and 3 overs as well. So my question is, how many times are we gonna have a spinner ball in the end?
That's my only argument.
Have him smacked,
yes.
And then you come here and say, "Man, that guy was a beast, bro." Like, why are we getting
Michael Hussey is Mr. Cricket?
I don't give a crap who Michael Hussey is. Why are we giving him an opportunity to smack our spinners for 4 6s? Like, why is that even coming to the equation?
Okay, fair. That's a good argument. I mean, I agree with you there. That
the same thing will happen next year, and you'll be like, "Man, that guy David Miller, he's a beast, bro."
Okay, Can I talk about the last over, please?
Sure, let's do it.
Because I have a lot of thoughts about it. I've been ranting about it. I've been called an idiot on Twitter about it because apparently I don't know the bylaws. Shut up. Neither do you. You Googled it as well. Like, this is just annoying. You need 16 in the last over, right? He gets Pandya out on the first over.
Great
First
catch
ball.
by Babar.
Great catch, but very
catch.
pressure catch by Babar because I know for a fact that the ball is spinning as it's coming down.
You know,
and it's quite high as well.
As a cricket player myself, I can guarantee you, when the ball goes in the air and you're underneath it, there is 100 things going in your head. It's like, what if I drop it? What happens if this hits my hand?
And you have to think
what if
about
nobody calls for it.
You have to think about none of them.
You have
to be clear.
Blank.
You and the ball. That's it.
To go blank.
And he caught it. Like, that's the captain's catch right there. Like, he was gonna catch it anyways. Like, it was a very easy catch, soft catch, but the pressure of the catch was quite high.
16 off 5.
16 off 5. DK comes on, takes a single.
The funny thing is,
14 off 4.
DK came down the track, tried to hit him for a 6, and it sort of hit him on like sort of full toss, knee length.
Knee length. It was knee length.
And Kohli, for like, I think for 30 seconds, he's like, to the umpire, he's like, no ball, no ball, no ball. And that just made no sense. So
no, but
that's
you know what?
started.
You know what that was? That put a thing in what is it, Murray Erasmus's head. He was like, "Yo, okay, maybe he's fighting for this no ball. I'm gonna be a bit more, attentive,
lenient.
Yeah, or attentive to what's happening." I don't know why Nawaz was trying to go for medium pace. I think it was because I was checking the pace. It was the same pace.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like he was bowling 10, 20 clicks higher. It was the same pace.
Yeah.
Right. I think he was going seam up. He was trying to go for like
the
Yorkers and all that. And he missed 2 of them.
Yeah.
Right. He missed 2 of them.
Makes sense.
Was that a no ball or not?
The first one.
No.
Huh.
Was that a no ball or not?
So I think it's a there's a few things that you want to discuss before saying yes, it's a no ball, no, it's not a no ball. The first thing is when Babar plays that shot. Sorry, when Virat plays that shot, it goes for a six. And if you look at the replay of that shot, the umpire. Usually, what happens that if it's a no ball, the umpy's hand goes up first thing up.
Yep.
No ball, free hit, whatever. The umpire is watching the ball go for six, and he didn't call it no ball. It was only after Virat played that shot where he's like,
And he
umpy,
protested.
he's like, no ball, no ball, no ball. And then out of nowhere, umpire's like, yeah, you're right. You know what? It is a no ball. So,
Okay, question.
yeah,
Because I was reading up on this as well because I was very curious. At that point, Babar is furious, right?
yeah, makes sense.
And can he not like do that?
That's not
Can
up to them.
he
That's
not
not
third
up to him
umpire
to
that?
third umpire. It's up to the.
Can he not protest to Mariah? Can be like, yo, go third umpire for this. I want to check this.
That's supposed to be the umpire's call, the on-field umpire's call to go up, and that's what makes sense. You have so much technology, Hawkeye, this, that, and you're still not going to use that for such a big game, a crunch moment, a decisive moment in the match, and that just made absolutely no sense to me. There's a whole different debate if it was a no ball or not.
What's your take? Is it a no ball or not?
My take is that it was a no ball. If you draw a line at the point of where the contact is of bat and ball, if you draw a 90-degree line from that point, it's going up to his waist.
Okay, but that's not how physics works. There's a downward force at all
That's
times.
also not how the rules work.
The ball was dipping, bro.
That doesn't matter. It's
From
at
the naked eye, it didn't look no ball. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay, sure.
And the way he played the shot, the popping crease was a good meter away. No, don't laugh at that. I'm genuinely pissed. That was not a no ball.
So that point, his front foot was out of the crease, but he was still on the line of being in the back crease, right?
Okay.
Those things don't matter because he never went up to third umpire, so they never got a chance to consider those things. But from the rules, at the point of contact, it looked like it was gonna go to his waist. I'm not talking about what happens if there's a Hawkeye and if it's gonna hit his waist, go to his knees or not. At the point of contact, if you draw a 90-degree straight line, it's gonna be a no ball. I'm sorry to say.
That's bullshit. Unfortunately to say, my brother has been corrupted by the Illuminati
I'm just talking
media.
from a rules point of view.
He's an ESPN Cricket Info pawn at this point because that's not the guy I grew up with. Right now, this is insane. All right, fine, whatever. You take the no ball. He gets a six.
It's a free hit.
It's a free hit, and then he bowls a wide.
No.
Yeah, he bowls a wide.
Balls wide?
He bowls a wide.
6 off 3, yes. Balls wide, yeah.
Fine. And then he bowls the guy,
He bowls the guy.
and the guy runs for 3 runs.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? What the hell? Like, I've never felt anger simmer in my body like that when I saw, and freaking all props to Virat Kohli for the state of mind he was in.
Game sense.
He knew
Game
the game
awareness.
sense, game awareness, everything. Yes, he's the greatest of all time. I know it. Like, you don't have to tell me, right? You don't have to tell me that. But the fact that that's a rule that I found out later, Twitter, I didn't know, is a no. Man, it's just like, man, I've taken runs like that when I was playing like double road cricket in Karachi, and
Yeah.
the fact that this is an international bylaw is beyond nauseous for me. This guy gets bowled out, runs 3 runs, and now we're 2 for 2.
That is one of the stupidest rules in cricket that I've ever seen. It's already such a batting dominated game, and you're penalizing the bowler for bowling a no ball with giving him a free hit, and then even if they get a wicket off the free hit, they can continue to run as many runs as possible until the ball is back into the keeper's hand.
So this is where like I like a plethora of questions open up in my mind. Like, you know, when the MCU introduced like multiverses, and you were like, wait, then why didn't they do that? Why didn't? So you're telling me, the first thing that came to mind, I was arguing with some dimwit on Twitter about this too, which is my fault, not his fault. So let's say, remember when Jofra Archer bowled, I think who it was Tamim Iqbal he bowled in the 2019 World Cup where he hit the bail and went for 6?
It was Shoma Shakar.
Okay, whatever. Pretend that was a free hit.
Mhm.
It hits the top bail and it goes for 6, and so Bangladesh now has 6 runs on the board.
According to the rule, correct. Yes.
Because that just does not make sense. When you're caught out, right, on a free hit,
you can still run.
so if I catch you out, I have the ball in my hand. The ball doesn't die there.
No.
So if I have the ball in my hand, I don't throw it. You can run as many runs as you want.
Correct.
Does that not seem dumb?
It does seem dumb. The catching not as much, but the bold one, yes. The bold one, absolutely yes. It
Like I
seems
feel like New Zealand in the 2019 World Cup final, where they're like, bro, hit the man's glove and he ran and went for 4.
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say you sound like if Kane Williamson, like he trying bold man. He defended that score, man. We won that. We had that game.
No, because this is I feel Kane's I feel it. I feel his
Empathy for Kane.
empathy for Kane, man. Hashtag empathy for Kane. Because I'm like, this is why I think holding Navas for the 20th was not a bad idea, because these are the margins that they won on,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then Navas, of course, he's the pressure last over, man. He goes for another wide. No, he gets Dinesh Karthik out,
Yeah.
right?
And then wide.
And then wide.
And then 4.
And then Ashwin, freaking man-cat Ashwin he doesn't go for 4, he goes for a single. Like, that's why we don't even know, because we closed the TV when it went over the boundary. I was like, this is why it pains me, because this is probably the best Pakistan team that we've seen on ground. And I'm going to make this claim since 1999. Okay. This is the best Pakistan team we've sent to a World Cup since 1999. 2011, we had the likes of Ahmed Shahzad and Wahab Riaz to deal with. Okay. 2015, don't talk to me about it.
Rahad Ali.
2007 World Cup, we had dying, aging stars in 2003 and 2007, I want to say. 2007 less so, because we had an old Inzamam, but we had a fresh prime Afridi, prime Malik. I was Hafiz in that tournament, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But like, we had these prime batsmen. That was just on us, losing against Ireland and then killing Bob Wilmer. No, allegedly. Allegedly. Like that's just on us, right?
Okay.
That's just on us. Like I don't even know what to say. 2003, we had a aging Waqar and aging Wasim.
Yeah.
And
Sailor.
Moin Khan and all these guys, right? Like just at the end of their careers. Even in 92, when we won the World Cup, we didn't have the best team, right? Like we had a half Imran Khan playing, like freaking
Half Imran Khan, 50% duas, 30%
yeah, rain,
sadke.
like everything. Like I was just like, that's not a team. This is the perfect team where we have everybody, maybe a unfit Shaheen, sure, but everybody from 1 to 10 they know their role. This is the best team. You have the best batsmen in the world, some of the best bowlers in the world. This is a team I would put all my money in. I would put my house on mortgage, put it on Bet365, and probably see what happens, right? So it pains me because we keep losing against India in the World Cup anyways, man. We're 1 for 12 now, right? Or something like
13.
that. 13. And like, great. We lost because our teams were usually average and they were just great. They had Tendulkar, Dravid, Sehwag. They were just unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
When we have a chance like this, where we have one of the best T20 teams of all time, losing a match like that pisses me off.
Yeah, it's basically you're gifting the other team the match. They snatched the game away from us.
It is 31 for 4. That's all I think about.
That's what hurts. I mean, for me, just because I've seen such a terrible Pakistan team over the last 5-10 years, for me, even seeing a game like this, a fighting game like this, I'm pretty much happy. I don't really care that much.
It annoys me.
I'm pretty invested in this team, but I'm not as emotionally hurt as you are.
Because, like I said, I explain my hurt. It's the myth of Babar. It's him overtaking the mantle of someone like Virat Kohli, and then not showing up, which is upsetting. And then just you still make a fighting total. Your ballers show up, everyone shows up, and you lose on technicality, man.
Yeah,
You know, like this is exactly what happened to Kane Williamson. New Zealand was the better team in that World Cup.
I agree. Yeah, I think New Zealand, that World Cup specifically, deserved to win. Yes,
They deserve to win, and history will be like. And even the Super Over that they went to, England didn't win that Super Over. It was a draw. It was a tie.
Yeah.
And they won again on a technical. You cannot do this, ICC. This is not how a functioning governing sporting event is.
The ICC, they're pretty much toothless. They can't really do anything.
You change the bylaw. You don't like the overthrow run on the if it hits the batsman, dead ball. It's over. It's done. Like it can hit the glove, go for 6. I don't give a shit. Like I don't want to hear it. Same thing with the bowl on a free hit, man. That's like the dumbest rule I've ever seen, and I will complain about this. It reminded me so much of the 2011 semifinal. I keep saying this, emotionally charged and everything, but that Sachin Tendulkar DRS was out. You cannot convince me that the ball was missing like by a millimeter. It was out by the naked eye. I would have given you that out in my own backyard.
I
Okay,
think,
so
funnily enough, the umpire for that match was Maria Erasmus. I just remember because I remember he had an interview last year and he said, if I saw that such a delivery again, I would have given it out again. So that's pretty much funny that you brought that up. But I think you're comparing two different matches.
no, I'm talking about the emotional weightage of my personal like
I don't think emotionally they're the same weightage matches because that was a World Cup
World Cup
semifinal.
semifinal.
And Pakistan had an
There is a
incredible
big
tournament.
chance that there is a big chance, let's be candid, that Virat Kohli retires in the next 12 months from T20s.
It's possible. It's possible. And for the record,
Right. So this is probably the last game that Virat plays against Pakistan in T20s.
it's
And you let him run you over again.
we can't say what Virat Kohli's future career is going to look like.
You don't even know if Pakistan is going to go to the next World Cup with the political tensions.
Yeah.
So we don't even know.
There's a lot happening. But for the record, just Virat Kohli is one of the greatest cricketers of all time. He is the greatest cricketer of our generation.
Hands down.
And even though we lost as a Pakistan cricket fan, that hurt. But as a genuine cricket fan, a lover of the game, it was an absolute pleasure to witness that innings of Virat. I just hope
I don't know.
it wasn't against us.
I'm not there yet to be like, I genuinely enjoyed that innings. I understand the significance of this innings. This is like Jordan winning his 6th ring. I get it. Like, I get it.
This
It's
game,
just that I don't want to recognize that innings right now. Like, I tweeted this out, and it's like, why is Pakistan always at the blunt end of one of the greatest matches of all time? Why is it that they always lose in regards to a game being like phenomenal? I don't get it. Like, I've heard this so many times. Like, oh man, Pakistan lost, but great game. I don't want it. I want Pakistan won like 152-0.
Mhm.
Right? I want Pakistan won 100 and whatever 84 India all out.
yeah.
I want that. Give me that. Feed it into my veins, inject it into me, and let me live. Right? I don't want these extremely close nail biters where Pakistan lose. If you want to do that, beat Shahid Afridi to hit 2 6s, man. Do that.
I think what you're saying is pretty valid. I think Charles Barkley might agree with you. Man went without any rings because of that whole Jordan era.
Man that's wild to me. Charles Barkley is a top 25 NBA player of all time.
Different games, but we're just comparing different
Yeah.
aspects of the game.
Totally.
I think this is the era of Virat Kohli, and we have to appreciate greatness. We have to appreciate that this man is a genius. He is an out of this world cricketer, and I can't wait to see more of him play in international cricket. He's supreme fit when we were talking about how long he's going to play for more. Definitely the next 50-over World Cup, but I'm not sure when he's going to retire. Just my personal assessment, I think he wants to go out at his peak on a high. So if he wins the next 50-over World Cup in India, I think he might call it a day. But just a phenomenal player. Just it's insane, man. Like there is no comparison to Virat Kohli. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any comparisons ever again. The innings that he plays when India needs it the most, the chase master, the greatest run chaser in the history of cricket. You name it, fitness, shot selection, just mind calculation. He's the best of the best. He is the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing much more to be said about that.
What's next for Pakistan?
So that's the thing. Like, then I catch myself. I look myself in the mirror, and I'm like,
It's just the first game, man.
The first game. You have what, 4 more games?
4 more games
in the group. The group isn't that strong. They have a fainting South African team. What is it? Netherlands and
Zimbabwe,
Bangladesh. Like, you got this. Like, you can at least be top 2 in the board and qualify for the semis. I get that. I see that. I recognize that.
Our run rate didn't really get impacted that much.
Yeah, because it was a 20 overs. You know, I was probably about the same amount of wickets. So yeah. Like, not much lost here except for pride.
Sure, and a lot of people they live and they play for pride. I think going forward, Pakistan really needs to beat Zimbabwe, Netherlands, and Bangladesh with decent margins, and they have to beat South Africa. And for some reason, my heart is it beats fast when I think about that game against South Africa because they have bowlers like Rabada, Norkia, Ngidi,
Was that Pakistani dude?
Tabraiz Shamsi. He's
Yeah.
not Pakistani, but he's a really good spinner. They
Is he not
have
Pakistani?
they have Marco Jansen, 6'7", left arm in swing bowler. They're a dangerous side. They have David Miller. They have some really good batsmen, Quinton de Kock. I think it's going to be a tough game against them, and that will be the virtual quarterfinal for Pakistan. They need to learn from these mistakes, bounce back, drop Asif Ali or Haider Ali, bring in a fourth seamer, play with a positive intent. I'm sure that Rizwan and Babar will come back really hard in the next games. And just personally speaking, I'm hoping for fingers crossed, India versus Pakistan final
That's the only way that I will be
back at the MCG.
That's the only way that I will feel an ounce of redemption. I said this as well. Either bring home the gold, bring home the T20 World Cup at Babar Azam, and like get something that Kohli never got, right? Or even better, do that and beat India in the final. That's gonna be the redemption that I'm gonna be looking forward to. Man, as
We have a great tournament at hand.
it's just the beginning. I understand that. It's just like my emotions taking over and I'm freaking out. I'm also very extremely sleep deprived and self deprecating. So I feel the bouts of depression every couple of hours when I think about the last over. And I feel bad for Nawaz. And shout out to Babar Azam as always. Shout out to Babar Azam in every episode. But his speech at the end, which PCB posted on their YouTube channel, was great to see. You know what? This is our team. We're gonna win this. This is why this team is there. Like everything he said, retweet, hashtag, re TikTok, whatever you want to do it, reshare. I believe in that wholeheartedly. It's great to see a young captain leading these Cubs, and hopefully it comes back with the gold, man. I really appreciate sitting with you here and your stupid blue notepad, and and genuinely talking about this game that we both love and we grew up loving. The World Cup is open wide. We're very excited to see where it goes. And if you guys enjoyed us little talking here, don't worry, we're gonna review every Pakistan game. It might be a couple of days late, maybe a day or two late, but we're definitely hoping to touch on every single Pakistan game, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes, whatever we got. We're hoping to see Pakistan at least in the playoffs.
What's your top four?
Top four? Oh yeah. I think that my top four is gonna be India, Pakistan from this group, and New Zealand, England from the other group.
I agree.
That's my top
up
four.
there with you.
And then I see Pakistan beating both of New Zealand and England. Maybe less so England, more so New Zealand. They can beat New Zealand a lot better than they can beat England. And then making it to the finals. England will be a tougher semifinals for Pakistan. And then I see India beating whoever the two are and seeing them in the finals as well.
Yeah,
And then I don't want to predict the finals because that's way.
Yeah, this is, man, cricket. It's a funny sport, man. You never know what's gonna happen.
Never know.
Never know.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you hear today, if you have opinions of your own, please leave it in the comments. Let's have a discourse, sorry, and let's talk about everything cricket there. If you agree, disagree with us, we'd love to hear your opinions on this. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave us a review on whatever auditory podcast platform you're listening to. It actually genuinely helps us in the long term. If you want to sign up for our Patreon, consider doing that as well. Links are in the bio. And take care of yourself, enjoy the sport, and we'll see you on the other side.
Cheers.